The day I buried my husband, my own son handed me a suitcase and told me to leave. You're just a useless old woman, Mum. Dad knew that. My heart broke. He took the penthouse, the fortune, everything. All I got was an old, abandoned garage in the bad part of town. He thought he had won. He didn't know what was inside that garage. He didn't know about the 3 locked cars worth millions. He didn't know about the secret letter, or the hidden safe, or the reason my husband left it all to me instead of him. This is the story of how my son's greed cost him everything, and how my dead husband came back to protect me. I never thought I'd spend my 68th birthday standing in the middle of an abandoned garage, breathing in the scent of motor oil and dust thick enough to choke you. But there I was, holding a key I didn't recognize, my hands shaking, my eyes wet with tears, and in my head, Derek's voice, my own son's voice, echoed like a curse. You're just a useless old woman, Mom. Dad knew that. Pause. That line cut deeper than any knife. And it was just the beginning of a story that would rip apart everything I thought I knew about family, loyalty, and inheritance. The day had started normal. Me, Olivia Campbell, sitting in a lawyer's office in downtown Los Angeles. Robert, my husband of 42 years, had just been buried 3 weeks earlier. And now here I was, sitting in my funeral black dress, waiting for the will. Across from me, my son Derek, slick in a custom-tailored suit, looking like a Wall Street shark instead of my boy. Our family attorney, Mr. Hoffman, cleared his throat. His voice was steady, but his eyes gave him away, nervous, uneasy. He started reading. To my son, Derek Campbell, I leave our penthouse residence in Los Angeles and my primary investment portfolio. I felt my chest tighten. That was everything. The penthouse, the money. Then came the afterthought. And to my beloved wife, Olivia Campbell, I leave the property located at 1420 Industrial Parkway, the garage and its contents. Silence. A garage. After 42 years of marriage, I got a garage. I turned to Derek. His grief was gone, replaced with smug triumph. His hand squeezed my shoulder a little too hard. He leaned down and whispered, "Don't worry, Mom, I'll take care of you." But his eyes, they said, "You lost. I won." That evening, Derek drove me back to what I thought was still my home, the penthouse Robert and I had shared for 15 years. But as soon as I stepped inside, Derek set my suitcase by the door. "Mom," he said casually, "I think it would be best if you found somewhere else to stay." I blinked. "What do you mean? This is my home." He shrugged. "Not anymore. The will says it's mine. I've got designers coming tomorrow to start renovations. I need you gone." My voice cracked. "But where am I supposed to go?" He smirked. "You've got Aunt Sophia, or," he chuckled, "there's always that dump of a garage Dad left you. What are you going to do, Mom? Open a mechanic shop at your age?" And then the words that would haunt me. "You're just a useless old woman. Dad knew better than to give you anything real." If you're watching this and you've ever worried your own kids might throw you out one day without a second thought, then you need to subscribe right now. Because the next twist in this story proves just how fast family can betray you. And if you think it could never happen to you, hit the comments and tell me why. Hours later, I was driving through the industrial district. Lonely streets, flickering neon signs, and there it was, 1420 Industrial Parkway. A rusted metal door with a padlock. My flashlight cut through the darkness. Dust swirled in the air, and then my breath caught. Inside weren't piles of junk like I expected. No, there were cars, 3 of them, covered with fitted cloths like buried treasures. I pulled back the first cover, my hands trembling. A vintage Aston Martin DB5, silver birch, the James Bond car Robert used to gush about. Polished, perfect. I pulled another cover. A 1956 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, midnight blue, chrome sparkling like stars, and the third, a Ferrari 275 GTB4, deep red like the wine Robert ordered on our anniversaries. These weren't just cars, these were worth millions, and taped to the wall, an envelope, my name on it. In Robert's handwriting, I tore it open. My hands shook as I read. "My dearest Olivia, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry for the shock. 6 years ago, when I was diagnosed with heart failure, I knew I had to plan for your future. I couldn't trust Derek. I've seen how he treats you, so I split the inheritance deliberately. Derek thinks he got the real wealth, but these cars alone are worth $12 million. The safe behind the Venice photo holds the rest. You are not powerless, you are free. I sobbed, clutching the letter to my chest. Robert had known. He'd seen Derek's cruelty. He had left me not scraps, but protection. Right here, I need you to pause. If you were in Olivia's shoes, thrown out, betrayed, and suddenly holding 12 million in secrets, what would you do? Before you answer, smash that subscribe button, because if you don't, you'll miss how this story flips upside down. And if you won't subscribe, at least explain why in the comments. Seriously, what's stopping you? Behind the Venice photo, I entered our anniversary date. The safe clicked open. Inside, portfolios, USB drives, deeds to properties in Seattle, Chicago, even a vineyard in Northern California, stock accounts, bonds. I added it up in my head until I couldn't breathe. Robert had left me an empire, quietly, secretly, away from Derek's reach. I wasn't poor, I wasn't useless, I was rich. The next morning, my phone buzzed. Derek. Mom, where are you? Aunt Sophia says you didn't stay with her. I forced my voice steady. I found somewhere. Well, come get the rest of your things. Designers are gutting the penthouse tomorrow. No apology, no concern, just orders. I hung up and called Marcus Weatherby, Robert's trusted dealer. He confirmed everything. The cars were blue-chip investments, worth every dollar Robert had promised. My husband had outsmarted our son. Weeks later, I found the cottage in Carmel Robert had secretly purchased for me. Stone walls, ocean breeze, a replica painting of Venice where he'd proposed, every detail built for me. I broke down crying. Robert had thought of everything, even neighbors, to watch out for me. If you think the people you love most could never betray you, think again. Olivia thought the same thing about Derek, and look where she ended up. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, why? Hit that button before you end up learning this lesson the hard way. And if you're too stubborn, go to the comments and write why you'd rather risk being blindsided. But Derek wasn't done. He tracked me down, showed up at the cottage. Nice place, Mom, he sneered. Funny how you didn't mention Dad's other properties. Or the garage. Yeah, I peeked inside. Those cars, they're worth more than my penthouse. His face twisted with anger. Dad didn't trust me, did he? He gave me scraps and left you the real fortune. I slid him Robert's letter. He read it, his face flushed red. So I was a test? He wanted to expose me? You're really going to keep everything while I drown? I stayed calm. Robert gave me discretion. Your behavior will determine whether you share in this. He stormed out, slamming the door. Months later, Derek's investments crashed. His penthouse gutted, his fortune drained, bankruptcy knocking at the door. His assistant showed up at my cottage. Derek needs money. He could lose everything. And suddenly, he was at my door, desperate, broken. Mom, I need help. I laid out the terms. Transparency. Trustees manage the money. Therapy. Accountability. And you make amends for how you treated me. His jaw clenched. He wanted to say no, but desperation forced him to agree. Weeks turned into months. He began therapy, sold the penthouse, took a job in affordable housing. Ironic, given his obsession with luxury. Slowly he softened. Slowly I saw glimpses of the boy he used to be. 9 months later, he sat in my garden, sipping coffee. He handed me Robert's cufflinks and my lost wedding band. I thought these mattered, he admitted, but I realize now, they're just things. The real inheritance is what Dad left us both. Lessons. And for the first time in years, I believed him. I wasn't a useless old woman. I wasn't broken. I was stronger, independent, free. And Robert's love had carried me all the way here. If this story hit you hard, if you felt Olivia's pain and Robert's foresight, don't just leave. Subscribe now, because every story on this channel is a warning, a lesson, and a mirror. And if you made it all the way here without subscribing, go into the comments and tell us why. Tell us why you'd rather walk away than protect yourself with the wisdom of these stories.